Hey guys, this is Echo Soundworks, and you're checking out a plugin of the week video on ADSR. So this is the second plugin of the week video that we've done, and this week's plugin of the week is Infected Mushroom and Polyverse Manipulator. This plugin came out in, I want to say, December. I got it when it came out, and I haven't touched it really since. And then this past week, I was messing around with a couple tracks, and I pulled this up just to see what it would do. And I discovered two really cool things that it did that I wish I had known when it came out, but because of the holidays, it kind of got lost in the shuffle, and I didn't use it. So we're going to check out some of the cool features. This isn't going to be how to use everything on this plugin, but we're going to talk about what it is and how you can use it, and we're going to check it out in some examples. So let's get started. So when it came out, it was described as like a vocal processor and something that you could just manipulate and change and really mangle your audio. But it can actually do a lot of interesting things to source sounds that are not vocal related. So check this out. We're going to pull up a multimeter right now. And right now, I'm clearly a monophonic source, right? If we look at my track here, mono, one microphone. There's a stereo section that you can just use independently from other parts of the synth. Now, the really cool thing is, let's look at my phase meter. Now, I'm like talking in stereo right now. It's like a wider tone. My phase correlation is pegged out at mono. That is freaking cool. So what that means is you can take monophonic sources and add some width and some juju in the stereo field. But usually when you do that, for instance, I'll load up another plugin. Usually when you do that, you get it messes with your mono compatibility. So right here, we got to change this to a stereo track. It's a pseudo stereo track just because of the plugin, but it's still a monophonic track. So let me turn off the slap, the tight, and all these other modules real quick, and I'll show you what like a stereo or a widener function typically does. So now it sounds like there's more than one in my voice, right? If we go to my multimeter though, you'll see that the phase correlation, I'm down more towards center. So if we change this algorithm to stereo, again, same thing. It's messing with my phase. If you do that on a bunch of instruments, you do that a few times in the mix, it can start to make your mix sound weird. But the manipulator one, if we go back to it, as you can hear, it's still stereoized. There's still a stereo effect, but it's mono compatible. So that is really cool. All right, so there's also a really unique detune function down here at the bottom. We're going to talk about that, the smear, and then kind of listen to all three of these different effects on a sound. So I have a guitar loop dragged into Logic. Let's try applying some of the detune. So that's really cool to get like a synth-style detune on a sound I would never be able to do, or on a sound that I would otherwise not be able to get that effect on. So let's add a little bit of stereo to this as well. Sounds super 80s right now. There's also a smear shifter over here, which is kind of fun. And then there's also a glide function, which is really neat. So just down in this little strip, there's a lot of potential to manipulate your sounds. So down at the bottom, there are these 4 empty slots where you can input meta knobs, followers, ADSR, attack, decay, sustain, release, MIDI, and sequencer, which is really interesting. There's 2 sequencers loaded up right now. So here it is with the manipulator off. And here it is with manipulator on. Right? Like it's just crazy. So I'll run through some of the presets now that you know what this pluck sounds like here. There's a nice little dry wet knob over here or slider to the right. Now, I love how it says subtle. Like that's subtle. So there's a bank, there's different presets. There's subtle, there's morphs, rhythmic effects, and MIDI. Let's try some of the morphs. See, a lot of the presets, if you're working with real melodic content, don't work super well. But if you're kind of playing into Manipulator, you might be able to get some more usable effects straight out of the bat. And dragging and dropping loops into your DAW and going through some of these can really help you create some cool ideas. All right, so one of the coolest features of Manipulator is that you can use it as like a MIDI controlled effect. So I can't teach you how to do this in every DAW because it's different, and I don't want to talk about that in this video for those of you who don't use Logic, but you can see up here that I have Manipulator on a instrument channel, and then I have a audio file right here above it, and I'm kept these back to back just so you can see it's clear. And then on Manipulator, instead of on an insert effect, it's an actual MIDI controlled instrument. What I've done is I found a preset that I like, or a tweaked one here, and I'm keying in the sidechain input to that audio track here. So here's the audio track without Manipulator.
Have it. New York City, please go easy on me tonight.
All right, now check this out. I'm gonna mute this or turn it down. And now this is coming through Manipulator.
New York City, please go.
Right, like it's been pitched down a whole octave, and here's pitched up.
New York City.
So check this out. I'm gonna pitch it back down to an octave. Now I have a keyboard here that you can hear me banging on the keys. So check this out. I'm gonna play chords as we go.
New York City, please go easy on me tonight. New York City, please go easy on this heart of mine.
All right, so as you can hear, that's clearly not the melody of the source audio that I played for you a little while ago. Manipulator is a really cool plugin. I would suggest you guys check it out if you're wanting to manipulate. I'm sorry, I keep saying that word to describe it, but if you're wanting to get a plugin or an effect that can allow you to do some crazy shit to your audio or your plugins, your synths, whatever, Manipulator is that. There's also, I want to note down here, there's also an FM section, so you can do some crazy stuff with like bass one-shots, all that sort of stuff. Manipulator does breathe life into like one-shot samples, so if you have any of those packs, that sort of stuff where you have just one-shot bass notes, brass notes, that sort of stuff, Manipulator can do some really interesting things to those types of samples. All right, guys, that sums up this plugin of the week video. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to hit me up below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. If you're not subscribed to the ADSR channel, definitely sign up and subscribe. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm Echo Soundworks. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.